Order, please. Let's resume proceedings. Witnesses, you and I will take the stand. I presume you heard the defense counsel's summation examination. Oh, well, yeah, Governor. I did, Gov, I did. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Gore, Blimmy! This is going to be hard work. Earlier in this trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions after you entered Windybanks. However, that was a lie. You brothers. Gore, Blimmy! On the night in question, you rifled through the items in the victim's counter. We never done nothing to start. How you figured it out? You will now give formal testimony once again. You will tell the court precisely what happened the night in question, and this time, you will tell the truth. Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. And that, gentlemen, may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. A thought worth pondering, perhaps. Say no more, Godfrey, hear it. Well, blab, we'll squeak, we'll peach. Alright, witness testimony. Illegal entry, the whole truth. Alright, did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing. It was when you heard the gunshot, see, made us both jump and all the stuff and flying. Well, I mean, it didn't give me a fright. We was thinking that the shooter come out the door and get us next. We stuck everything back where we found it, Scarper, straight into him in the back. We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never even have a chance, do we? So you meant the defense's accusation. You did indeed ransack Mr. Windybank's countertop on the night in question. Not ransack, Governor, no. That's right, Nash, that's right. It's more like we teed it up, yeah. Sorry. By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbroker under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled on hearing the gunshot, having first made good their mess. The way you say it hardly sound like gross at all. You don't, Nash, you don't. Can't you make it sound a little more, bit more cutthroat? It can't just be a coincidence that these men showed up at Windybanks that night. There's more to this their testimony than meets the eye, I'm sure of it.
Hold it!
If that's the case, then why did you testify to that effect in the first place? Well, you know, we ain't exactly sneaky clean, are we? We ain't, Dash, we ain't. If we admitted to something like that, people would think we was up to no good. But you guys are already up to no good. Well said, Ringo, me old China. We don't need to let ourselves be more trouble. And in fact, now, as a result of lying in your previous testimony, that's exactly what you done. Landed yourself in even more trouble. That's rotten luck, says the rotten apple eater. Witnesses, explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter? We never ransacked nothing. Right, Ash? Right? Why did you do the place up? Okay, I guess we're just going to that conversation again. Okay, guess I'll just keep pressing these guys. So what you're saying is, the sound of the gunshot shocked you so much you knocked all the stains off the counter? Well, it shocked one of us that much, yeah. This bag of nursing learned to keep the shirt on. Look, it was wild, right? Blimey, me dad granny would have woken up with that bang. Big brother screamed like a blooming baby, fell over on the counter, and he knocked over a load of books and candlesticks to school and that. That got tangled in some marionette. One knocked over a picture frame. One knocked over scales on the floor. Jesus Christ. You really mastered working quietly then. What a racket! Me granny would have been scared back into her grave at a clatter like that. So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise, and he made a very loud noise. And then some. I mean, it was quiet as a mouse, and then all of a sudden, BAM! He's like fiercely eating. Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add? Like I keep saying, I don't appreciate being lumped in with these scoundrels. No, something to add about the testimony? You seemed to react just now at what Mr. Skulkin said. Did it make you think of something? It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even bother to mention it, only, well, the fact is, cases don't get solved to ignore the little details. How about you just tell us what's on your mind? As you know, we brought these fellows into the yard for questioning that night, and the statement they gave then told a slightly different story to what they're saying now. Did it? You claim you heard the victim shout something out before the gunshot. Might have, doesn't ring a bell now you think it. Just how many lies are these guys gonna say? Granted, it's only my detail, but still. I can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy with testimony here, eh, fellas? If I discover that the witness's testimony has been any more sloppiness it is horrible proven to be, I should be forced to bring the very harshest punishment to bear against them. Easy, easy. We'll get it right this time. That's it. Yep, it's all coming back to me now. Then speak. Supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously returned to your questionable minds, sirs. Right you are, Gov. Give me that gun. So in fact, you heard the voice and the gunshot almost simultaneously? We did, Gov, we did. How is it at the same time? So how would Ginny like scream that and then shoot at the same time? There must have been another person there, right? Because there was like another blood that we couldn't even identify at the crime scene. Although, I suppose if we're being honest, we heard a kind of wavering voice before the yell and all. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun! Bam! Kind of thing. A career at acting tragically missed. It's just like Arena Sick is so sarcastic. And where are the voices coming from? Could you tell? Of course you could, but on the other side of the door behind the counter was from the storm where the victim was found dead. And the voice you heard, it was that of the victim, Mr. Winniebank. Oh, me, Granny's life. Of course it was. On his Granny's life. Of course it was. So that would mean that you both knew Mr. Winniebank and the sound of his voice? Eh? So that would mean what? Yeah, how would you know it's his voice? What, Dash? What? Any ideas? Yes, Counsel, indeed it would. So you knew Mr. Winniebank? Nah. We didn't know the geezer. Then how would you know it was his voice? Oh, am I supposed to deny when they're blocking out the fancy covers giving us the evil eye? If you value your lives, you ensure testimony is accurate and true. I mean, Granny's life it was. It is. I mean, Granny's life it must be. It's a good job his Granny's dead. To summarize then, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, you then hear the gunshot, causing you to stumble and upset the items on the counter, scattering them over the shop floor. Yeah, make it sound like you're clumsy. I mean, don't forget we teamed up like after the good little boys anyway, the way I see it. The Blackwood owned the gun was holding a gun, so you should just fire instead of yelling at the girl. But Ginny had the gun. You're saying that Mr. Winniebank had a gun in his hands? Oh yeah, I bet that was a sight, eh? The two were waving them guns at each other. Must have gotten pretty heated, but there was only one gun at the scene. I mean, just before he shot out, you heard the geezer say if you don't want to get shot. Didn't really sound like he meant it by, more of an empty threat, you could say. Mr. Winniebank was known to keep a revolver on his shop counter at all times. People say that to protect the articles in his keeping, he'd really put a bullet in someone's head if required. That's someone being himself, of course. Good grief, extraordinary devotion indeed, if alarming and misguided. Well, he certainly sounded like he was ready to pull the trigger the other night. Only the person was gonna beat him to it. Cook this goose proper. Then you're implying that there was two guns at the scene, but there was only one. But there was only one in the storeroom and one outside the storeroom because you guys had a gun. Betty wished she escaped this trigger instead of wasting time shouting, "Give me that gun!" And it was directly after those words that he heard the gunshot. It was more or less at the same time, Gov. Give me that gun! Bam! Kind of thing. Yes, Akira acting very tragically missed. Then we heard the sound of someone hitting the deck before everything went dead quiet. After that, we done a slapdash job tuning the place up. Wow, we heard a gunshot, but we just cleaned it up and then we shot another person.
Hold it!
So, you didn't try to open the storeroom then? Not in your life. It went deathly quiet after that it did, put the wind right up me. But anyway, the door was locked, weren't it? Knowing that was opening. Yes, of course, it was locked from inside, or so you've been led to believe. It was, Gov, it was, from the inside. Right, so we had no way of knowing what was going on there, did we? Unless there's some other way to get a view of the inside of the storeroom. Like through the keyhole, or a spy hole perhaps? Don't ring no bells, don't light no lights. We had to cut and run before we noticed anything like that. We're still cutting our teeth in this game, see? But one day... we'll really cut the mustard! Please, cut it out. But as you know, behind the doors, the victim's lifeless body, with the accused not 2 feet away. Yes, unfortunately. Gina was in there unconscious, the gun in her hand. To confirm, would it be correct to say that neither of you set foot inside the storeroom? That's right, Gov, that's right. Gonna have you if you wanted to.
Hold it!
Yes, or upon you fire to shop your own gun at Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Oh, yeah, we was a bit hasty there. We was, now she was. Truth be told, I was already shaking like a leaf when your lot turned up. If you're shaking like a leaf, don't put your loaded gun in your hand. Good advice, miss, good advice. Truth be told, my mind went totally blank. Before your mind goes totally blank, make sure you don't have a loaded gun in your hand. But mental note made, miss. After that, we liked it down the street, but apparently we dodged the coppers or somewhat, so they caught the Darbies on us like winking. And after you've been handcuffed, the police found this revolver in your possession, correct? Well, yeah. Well, listen, that proves it done it, eh?
Hold it!
And why should we believe that? Eh? What? Well, cause it's true, ain't it? The place is totally empty when we went in. At the time, the victim was already in the storeroom, having been forced to open the door by the accused who had a gun to his head. In other words, on the night in question, these 2 witnesses never even laid eyes at the proprietor of the pawnbrokery, Mr. Winniebank. Correct. You got it, mister. Down to T. So the Skulkin brothers never actually encountered Mr. Winniebank? Is that really true, I wonder? That's it? That's the full extent of the testimony? What is it, Runo? You look very fierce. I could pour you some herbal tea if you're tired. Oh, thank you, but I'm fine. Being such a logical thinker, you'll probably laugh, but I feel as though the brothers are still hiding something important. It is something more than feeling, though I have no proof to support it. Well, feelings can be very logical at times, sorry? People's expressions, the movement of the eyes, the words they choose. You can take all that in your brain and will quietly analyze it to come up with a feeling I could describe. You concluded that there's nothing suspicious about the testimony without knowing why, that's all. I think you should trust your instincts. Iris, thank you. Sometimes I think if she's 10 years old, I must be 5. The block what owned the place was holding a gun, so he should have just started yelling at the girl, but he wasn't holding the gun. Ginny was holding the gun. Right? Yeah, Ginny was holding the gun. How about we present this?
Objection.
You're saying that on the night in question, the victim Mr. Winniebank was wielding a gun, is that correct? That's it, Gov. Got the picture. Yes, Nash, yes, no question. And yet the photographic evidence in the time of the incident clearly shows that Mr. Winniebank was not in possession of a firearm of any description.
Objection.
You surprised me. Does the defense really intend to hide evidence that compromises the position of the accused even more? Furthermore, the defenses failed to establish the photographic print presented was taken a suitably short time prior to the victim's death. Your chronology is severely lacking, counsel. Yes, right. Too right, Nash. Too right. The old geezer could have been able to turn the tables on the girl, eh? Hardly likely. No, I'm afraid this won't stand as conclusive evidence. Continue with the cross-examination, counsel, and heed my earlier warning, witnesses. Then what do you want me to do? Skulkin's never skulking. Alright, I think I'll just try to figure this out on my own. Thank you so much for watching part 30 and part 29 before this part. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Next time we'll try to like go through this test.